Let's dive into something pretty unique today.
Oh, yeah.
The Sri Ashtapuja Perumal Temple in Kanchipuram.
Okay.
Now, this Vishnu temple, it stands out even among the 108 Divya Desams.
Interesting.
Why is that?
I'm listening?
Well, picture a Vishnu deity, but with 8 arms.
8 arms.
And get this, each one is holding a different weapon.
Oh, wow. That's pretty striking imagery.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, this is all conveniently located near the famous Varadraja temple.
No kidding. So we're talking prime real estate in Kanchipuram.
Right. Talk about a power spot.
Definitely. But it's interesting, this isn't just another Vishnu temple we're talking about.
Right.
Ashtapuja Perumal, Ashta meaning 8, and Bhuja arms.
Okay.
Represents a very specific form of Vishnu. It's not often you see him depicted with such detail.
So all those weapons, they're not just for show, I'm guessing?
Absolutely not.
There's got to be some stories behind them.
Each one tells a story,
Okay.
adds layers to his divine attributes.
Makes sense.
And, of course, the myths surrounding the temple.
Before we get into the stories, though, you mentioned this temple is a Divya Desam.
Right.
What does that even mean?
So Divya Desam literally translates to divine abode.
Okay.
These are 108 Vishnu temples
108.
scattered all across India.
Hmm.
Actually, even a few outside of India.
Wow.
But they're considered especially sacred in the Vaishnava tradition.
They're kind of like the VIPs of Vishnu temples.
You could say that.
Okay.
And, they're actually mentioned in the hymns of the Alvars.
Right, the Goat Saints.
Exactly.
Big Vishnu fan.
Devoted to Vishnu.
Yeah.
Traveled all over singing his praises.
Oh, so that automatically puts Sri Ashtapuja Perumal Temple in a very special category.
Absolutely. Being designated as a Divya Desam is a big deal.
Out of, I don't know how many thousands of temples there are,
Right.
being one of 108, that speaks volumes.
It really does.
So I imagine pilgrims come from all over just to see this 8-armed Vishnu.
Yeah, you can imagine.
Okay, but let's zero in on this specific temple.
Okay.
What about the architecture? What are we looking at?
So the main shrine of the temple, it's crowned with this towering chakra Ghosha Vimana.
Vimana. Okay, I vaguely remember that term.
Yeah, essentially it refers to the structure built over the sanctum.
Right, where the deity resides.
Exactly.
Got it.
Now, chakra Ghosha style is particularly interesting.
Why is that?
It's said to resemble Vishnu's celestial chariot.
Like his ride.
Yeah, you could say that. But it adds this layer of symbolism.
Okay.
It's suggesting that the deity inside isn't just present. He's active, he's dynamic, capable of swift action, intervention.
Not just any temple tower, but
Yeah.
one that's meant to evoke Vishnu's power, his mobility.
Exactly. Makes an impact, on worshippers.
Yeah, I can only imagine. All right, let's get to the good stuff. Those 8 arms and weapons.
Okay, go get ready for this.
Lay it on me.
In his right hand,
Okay.
he holds a chakra,
Okay.
a sword, a lotus flower, and an arrow. And in his left hand,
Left hands, okay.
a conch, a bow, a shield, and a mace.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot to keep track of, like the ultimate divine multitasker or something. But each weapon must have a specific meaning, I'm assuming? Not just random accessories?
You got it. They're not just there for looks.
Right.
Each one has a purpose, a symbolism.
Give me an example.
Well, for example, the chakra.
The discus.
Yes, that's Vishnu's primary weapon.
Okay.
Symbolizes his power to vanquish evil and restore cosmic order.
And I bet that plays a key role in one of the myths associated with this temple.
Oh, you know it.
Okay, now we're talking. A myth involving a chakra and an 8-armed Vishnu.
You ready for this?
I'm all ears.
So this myth revolves around this fearsome creature
Okay.
called Sarabha.
Sarabha, okay.
Imagine a beast with the combined features of a lion and a bird,
Oh, wow.
embodying immense power, fierceness.
Scary.
Now, the story goes that the goddess Saraswati,
Okay.
she was feeling, well, a bit jealous of Brahma's deep meditation.
Hold on, Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge and arts.
The one and only.
Getting jealous. That's not the image I had of her.
Well, even gods and goddesses have their moments, right?
I guess so.
It adds a little drama to the cosmic play.
Right, right.
So anyway, Saraswati sends Sarhad to disrupt Brahma's penance.
Oh, to mess things up.
Exactly.
So what happens?
Sarva attacks Brahma, causing chaos.
And then Vishnu steps in
Of course.
to restore balance.
Always. But he doesn't just show up as his usual self. He transforms
Yeah.
into this 8-armed warrior, Ashtabhuja Perumal.
Specifically to combat this, what do you call it?
Sarabha.
A Sarabha, this unique threat.
He had to.
So each hand each weapon is specifically chosen to counter this creature.
Exactly.
It's like, what? A custom-built warrior.
It is, kind of, yeah.
I'm starting to see how the iconography isn't just symbolic. It's a visual representation of a specific event, a divine intervention.
You got it.
So the chakra, the one we were talking about earlier, I'm guessing Vishnu uses that to vanquish Sarabha,
You know it.
restoring peace and order.
Classic Vishnu. The myth really highlights his role as protector, the one who steps in when the balance is threatened.
Pretty epic. We've got divine drama, jealous goddesses, and multi-limbed Vishnu coming to the rescue.
It's a good story.
I bet that's not the only myth tied to this temple, right?
Oh, you're right. There's another famous one connected to this temple. Focuses on a different aspect of Vishnu's power.
What's that?
His compassion and swiftness in rescuing those who call upon him.
Interesting.
And remember the temple tank I mentioned earlier?
The one kind of overshadowed by that impressive Vimana.
Yeah, well, that tank is believed to be the very spot where the Gajendra Mokshum unfolded.
Gajendra Mokshum.
It's the story of Gajendra, an elephant,
Okay.
who gets caught in the clutches of a crocodile.
Oh, no.
Imagine the struggle, the desperation.
Yikes.
So Gajendra, he cries out to Vishnu for help.
Of course.
And Vishnu, he hears his plea, doesn't hesitate for a second.
Hold on. Isn't this the story where Vishnu literally drops everything to help?
Yeah,
Even leaves Lakshmi behind?
that's the one.
It really highlights how seriously he takes those who turn to him in need.
Absolutely. And even the choice of the elephant as the devotee in distress, it's significant.
Oh.
Yeah, elephants are often seen as a symbol of strength and wisdom.
Right.
But, even the strongest can find themselves in dire straits,
True.
needing help.
So how does this connect to Ashtapuja Perumal? I mean, I get the elephant story, but...
It highlights those same core qualities,
Yeah.
embodied by Ashtapuja Perumal.
Sure.
Swift action, immense power, used for protection, rescue.
Okay.
It reinforces the idea that this particular Vishnu form, he's not just a distant deity.
Mhm.
He's involved in the world, responding to those who seek refuge in him.
Right.
And the fact that the temple tank is believed to be the actual location,
Yeah.
it adds this tangible connection to the myth, right?
Hmm.
Makes it all the more powerful.
Wow. It really does feel like all these pieces are starting to fit together.
Yeah.
The iconography, the myths, the actual location of the temple. It's painting this picture of a deity. Powerful, but also compassionate.
Right.
Ready to intervene to protect those who call upon him.
Absolutely.
But before we move on, you mentioned this goddess Pushpakavali Thayar earlier.
Oh, yes.
I'm curious about her.
Well, she's the consort of Ashtapuja Perumal at this temple.
Okay.
And there's a very specific practice associated with her. I think you'll find it interesting.
Okay. I'm all ears.
Yeah.
What makes Pushpakavali Thayar so special?
Well, the thing is, you worship Pushpakavali Thayar before you worship the main deity, Ashtapuja Perumal.
Oh, interesting. So you worship the goddess first.
Yeah, it's not something you see in every Vishnu temple.
No, not usually. Typically, you go straight to the main deity, right?
Right, exactly.
So why the emphasis on the goddess first in this particular temple?
There are a few possible explanations. Some scholars think it might be connected to local beliefs surrounding the deities. Maybe it reflects a specific understanding of their relationship
Okay.
or their roles in the community.
I see.
Others tie it back to the Gajendra Mokshum story.
The elephant and crocodile story.
Yeah, remember how Lakshmi was left behind when Vishnu rushed to save Gajendra?
Oh, yeah. And she wasn't too happy about that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So some believe that worshipping Pushpakavali Thayar first is acknowledging her importance.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
Like appeasing her before you go to Vishnu.
Right.
It's like saying, we recognize your significance, we honor you, before we proceed to your consort.
That's a really interesting interpretation.
Right.
It adds a layer of complexity to the whole worship experience. You're acknowledging the interplay between the deities.
Yeah, the dynamics.
The sensitivities involved.
Absolutely.
It's these kinds of details that make exploring these temples so much more than just admiring the architecture. It's about understanding the layers of meaning, the beliefs, the practices that have shaped people's lives for centuries.
Absolutely. And speaking of those layers of meaning, we can't forget about the historical context
Right, of course.
that surrounds this temple.
Now, I know we've got some Chola inscriptions that offer a glimpse into the temple's past, right?
We do, yeah.
Those inscriptions are like time capsules, aren't they?
They really are.
They give us a direct line to the people who lived and worshipped there centuries ago.
That's the magic of them.
So what do these Chola inscriptions tell us about Sri Ashtapuja Perumal Temple?
Well, we have records from King Gajendra I
Okay.
and King Kulothunga I.
Both powerful Chola rulers.
They ruled in the 11th and 12th centuries.
Okay.
And these inscriptions, they detail land donations made to the temple,
Okay.
tax exemptions granted to it.
Wow.
They even give us insights into how the temple was managed, the priests, the rituals performed.
So we're not just seeing the temple as a place of worship.
You know.
It was a vital part of the community. A social and economic hub.
Absolutely.
Actively supported by the rulers.
Yes.
The people.
Right.
That really speaks to its importance beyond just the spiritual realm, you know.
It does, doesn't it? It shows how deeply embedded the temple was in the fabric of life.
And it also tells us about renovations and additions made to the temple complex, right?
Yeah.
We get clues about how the architecture might have evolved.
That's right.
It's like we're piecing together a puzzle.
Yeah.
Using these inscriptions to fill in the gaps in our understanding of the temple's history.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
And you know what else adds to this whole tapestry?
What's that?
The Alvars hymns.
Ah, yes, the Alvars. They offer another perspective.
Right.
One that delves into the emotional and devotional aspects.
Now, we have hymns specifically dedicated to Ashtapuja Perumal, right?
We do.
I'm really curious to hear how they describe this 8-armed deity.
Well, we have two Alvars who composed hymns for Ashtapuja Perumal.
Okay.
Thirumangay Alvar and Pei Alvar. Now, you might expect them to just dwell on the 8 arms and weapons.
Yeah, obvious stuff.
Right. But they go beyond that.
They do?
They use vivid imagery,
Okay.
metaphors, even personal experiences to convey their devotion.
It's amazing how they use poetry to express these profound spiritual experiences.
Isn't it?
It's not just praising his appearance or power.
Yeah.
It's about connecting with the essence of what that deity represents.
On a deeper level.
Right.
For instance, Thirumangay Alvar uses a really interesting technique.
What's that?
He takes on the voice of a lovelorn woman.
A lovelorn woman.
Yeah. To express his yearning for Ashtapuja Perumal.
Wow, that's not what I expected. It seems a little counterintuitive.
Does it?
To use a female voice for a male deity. Is there a deeper meaning there?
There are different interpretations.
Okay.
Some see it as highlighting the all-encompassing nature of Vishnu, embodying both masculine and feminine aspects.
I see.
Others focus on the emotional intensity, conveyed through the voice of a woman longing for her beloved.
Right, because in Hindu devotional poetry, that relationship between the devotee and deity, it's often expressed through the metaphor of love.
Love and longing.
It really makes you think about the different ways people connect with the divine.
It does.
How they find ways to express their deepest emotions and experiences through different forms of art and poetry.
Absolutely. It challenges our assumptions about what devotional poetry should sound like.
It does.
Opens up new avenues.
For interpretation.
Yeah. Now, Pei Alvar, he takes a slightly different approach.
Okay. How does he describe Ashtapuja Perumal?
His hymn focuses more on the theme of seeking refuge and protection.
Okay, I can see that.
He highlights the deity's unwavering power, his role as a savior.
For those who turn to him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Remember the story of Gajendra?
The elephant and crocodile.
Yeah. Pei Alvar connects that to the larger theme of divine grace.
Deliverance.
Right. He emphasizes Ashtapuja Perumal's swift action.
His unwavering commitment to rescuing those who call upon him.
It's like he's saying no matter what challenges you face, you can always find solace and protection in this deity.
It's a powerful message.
Hope.
Reassurance.
One that must have resonated deeply with devotees throughout the ages.
Absolutely. And you know, what's fascinating is that these hymns, composed centuries ago, they still hold this timeless quality.
They do.
The emotions they express.
Yeah.
The longing for connection.
The need for guidance.
Yeah.
Protection.
These are universal human experiences.
That transcend time and cultural boundaries.
Exactly. It makes you realize that even though we're separated by these vast stretches of time, we're still connected to these Alvars.
Through that shared human experience.
Of seeking meaning.
Purpose.
Grappling with life's challenges.
Finding solace in something greater than ourselves.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes exploring these temples so enriching.
It is.
It's not just a journey through history and architecture. It's a journey through the hearts and minds of those who came before us.
Exactly. Trying to understand their experiences, their beliefs.
The ways they sought to connect with the divine.
You've captured it perfectly. And it makes you wonder what it would have been like.
What do you mean?
To be a devotee, centuries ago, visiting this temple, hearing these hymns sung.
Feeling the weight of all that tradition and devotion.
What would it have been like to stand before this eight-armed deity?
Offer your prayers.
Seek solace.
Guidance.
It's a question I often ask myself.
Me too.
It's like we're trying to bridge the gap between then and now.
Understand how these ancient practices and beliefs still shape people's lives today.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
And for me, it always sparks a sense of curiosity.
Oh, yeah.
That desire to experience these places firsthand, to feel that connection for myself.
That's the beauty of it, these deep dives.
Yeah.
They're just the beginning.
The beginning.
They spark curiosity. They open up new avenues for exploration. They invite us to delve deeper
into this whole world.
The rich tapestry of history, mythology, spirituality.
So if you're listening to this and you're feeling that spark of curiosity, that desire to learn more, I encourage you, dive deeper into the world of Sri Ashtapuja Perumal Temple.
There's so much more to discover.
More stories.
More hymns.
More historical insights.
Then who knows what other connections you might make.
What other layers of meaning you might uncover as you continue your own exploration.
Perhaps you'll be inspired to visit the temple in person someday.
Experience its magic firsthand.
Or maybe you'll be drawn to explore other Divya Desams.
Each with their own unique stories.
And treasures.
Waiting to be discovered. But for now, let's take a moment to reflect.
Okay.
On what we've learned about Sri Ashtapuja Perumal Temple. This remarkable Divya Desam with its eight-armed deity.
Yeah.
Captivating myths.
And enduring hymns.
What stands out to me is how everything connects back to this idea of Vishnu as protector. Rescuer. You've got the 8 arms, each weapon signifying his ability to handle any threat. Then you have those powerful myths. Vishnu stepping in to stop the Sarabha, saving Gajendra from certain doom. It all reinforces that image.
And it's not just about brute force. Is it, remember the lotus flower he holds?
Oh, right.
Symbolizes purity, enlightenment, the potential for spiritual growth. So even as he vanquishes chaos, there's this element of fostering creation, renewal.
It's like he's not just stopping bad things. He's actively pushing for good to flourish. And I think that's where the Alvars hymns come in. They're not just praising his strength. They're expressing this deep longing for connection, for refuge in that divine power.
It's that yearning for something beyond ourselves, isn't it? That need for guidance and protection in a world that can feel chaotic and overwhelming. And the fact that these hymns have resonated with people for centuries, it speaks to the universality of that experience.
So if you had to distill it down, what would you say is the core essence of Sri Ashtapuja Perumal Temple? What makes it unique, memorable compared to other Vishnu temples?
Well, it's that specific focus on Vishnu as the protector, the rescuer who intervenes in times of need, the 8-armed form, the myths associated with the temple. Even the practice of worshipping Pushpakavali Thayar first, it all ties back to this central theme.
And it's not just a passive concept. It's active, dynamic, embodied in those weapons. The swiftness of his actions in the myths, it's like a call to action, both for Vishnu and for the devotee.
Exactly. It encourages us to think about how we can embody those same qualities in our own lives.
To be protectors.
Offer solace.
Act with compassion and courage.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, imagine yourself actually visiting Sri Ashtapuja Perumal Temple. You've just seen the 8-armed deity. You're standing by that temple tank where Gajendra called out for help. What resonates with you the most? What would you take away from that experience?
Well, that's the beauty of these deep dives, right? They're just the starting point. What questions arise for you? What aspects of the temple or the myths would you want to explore further?
Maybe you'll be drawn to the Alvars' poetry, seeking to understand their deep devotion.
Or perhaps you'll be inspired to research the Chola dynasty, to see how their patronage shaped the temple's history.
Whatever path you choose, the key is to stay curious, keep exploring, and allow yourself to be surprised by the connections you discover.
Well said.
Until next time, keep those questions coming and happy diving.